Okay, that's our lineup on this colorful edition of Gadgets and Gizmos show. And first up on the show, we have the all-new Sony Xperia Z1 Compact. Now, this is one smartphone which is compact in size and delivers on the processing power as well. But before we get you a full review on the Z1 Compact, let's take a look at the specs first. Sony Xperia Z1 Compact is the mini version of Sony's flagship smartphone, the Sony Xperia Z1. Sports a 4.3-inch IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen display up front with Sony's triluminous display technology. Internal memory is 16 GB and it runs on Android Jelly Bean operating system. At the back, the Z1 Compact sports a 20.7 megapixel autofocus camera that is capable of shooting HD videos. Xperia Z1 Compact is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor clocked at 2.2 GHz and backed by 2 GB of RAM. Sony Xperia Z1 Compact also comes in a variety of color options and is a IP58 certified, dustproof and water-resistant smartphone. Z1 Compact is priced at Rs 34,500. Alright, those are the specs on the all-new Sony Xperia Z1 Compact. Now talking about the design on the Z1 Compact, it's got Sony's brilliant industrial design on it. At the back you get a glass finish on this smartphone which is very shiny and very good to look at and gives it a tough look as well. But after all, a glass is a glass at the end of the day, and it tracks a lot of scratches on it if you don't put in a back screen guard over the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact. The other thing that this phone also has to offer is that it comes in a lot of color options, and of course, Sony's brilliant industrial design also gives you waterproofing and dust resistance on the Xperia Z1 Compact as well, what we've seen on the earlier Z editions of the Xperia family. Okay, when we talk about the display on the new Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, as I told you earlier as well, the front of the smartphone is actually dominated by the 4.3-inch display that it has to offer. It's actually a half HD display. It's not a full HD display that you get on the Sony Xperia Z1. That is the company's flagship smartphone. But this smartphone in half HD and a smaller size, a compact size, you don't really miss a full HD screen on it. The text and images come out really clear, and the 4.3-inch screen actually works for you because you can hold the phone in one hand and work your way around the phone by using one thumb. So you really don't need two hands to actually operate the phone. Now when we talk about the operating system that the Z1 Compact has to offer, it offers Android Jelly Bean right now, and Sony plans to come up with an KitKat update in April. But it won't make much of a difference because at the end of the day, Sony runs a customized Android onto the Z1 Compact. So users won't really find any difference between the older version of the Android running on the Z1 Compact and if there's a new update also that comes in. Alright, now coming to the camera on the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, it has a 20.7 megapixel primary camera onto it. And what that boils down to is brilliant image results. Of course, the screen on the Z1 Compact is half HD, but if you click some images and transfer it onto your desktop and your laptop maybe, you will find the images come out really crisp and sharp. Even if you zoom into it, the detailing is very nice. The images that you click under low light conditions also are very good. Up front, it also houses a 2 megapixel camera onto the Z1 Compact, but it's not that great camera to click selfies these days. We see smartphones coming out with 5 megapixel cameras and 8 megapixel cameras as well to click great selfies on them. But for a 2 megapixel camera, it's only as good to do video calling on it. Now when we talk about the performance of the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, it's not a bad phone at all. In fact, it is one of the best performing compact smartphones that you'll get in the market. It runs a quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor on it, which is the latest, which is almost a similar processor that you find on the Google Nexus 5 or even the Gionee eLife E7 as well. And when we did a benchmark rating on this smartphone, it actually yielded a score of 34,284, which is actually very good if you compare it to the other competitors that are there in the market. So this is one super fast Android smartphone. The gaming performance on it is brilliant. It handles multitasking seamlessly, and there are no lags as such seen on the smartphone, and it is actually a very good performer at the end of the day. Now here's the thing, it's priced at rupees 34,500 rupees, which is a bit too steep. But then you need to pay some premium to these companies when they're giving you additional features such as water resistance and dust proofing on the smartphones like these. And of course, it is a performer, it has a good camera and everything going for it. A complete recommendation from our side in this festive season for sure.